What up, guys? So today we're going to make another video talking about 151. Someone recommended that I give my thoughts on Pokemon 151. As you guys know, the Japanese Pokemon 151, there was a reprint announced for that, which we're going to see, get restocked in about May, according to PokeBeach, the website. So today, obviously, we're going to start by going over some of the cards, going over some of the products, and I'm going to give my opinion. So getting into obviously the card list, main card is the Charizard here, Charizard EX. We have the Blastoise EX and then the Venusaur EX SIRs. Charizard's over $100, and then it's quite a big drop down to the Blastoise and the Venusaur rather, that are around $40 to $45. Then you have some other cards down here. You have the Charizard EX, Zapdos EX SIR. Charmander, almost pushing $30. Squirtle, Alakazam, which if you've looked at the logo of my channel, you would know that Alakazam is probably my favorite Pokemon of all time. And then Abra is a close second, so I really love this card. Bulbasaur over here, Charmeleon, Mew EX, Blastoise EX Full Art. These are all over $20, and then Erica's Invitation, which has tanked, is down to $19.70. Pikachu card, love this one as well, 1950. And then, Ivysaur, Wartortle. We have lots of, fan favorite Pokemon. Obviously, it's the original 151. But basically, the whole page is cards over $10. And then, when you get into the second page, it really drops off quite rapidly. I'll give you guys a quick look here. Let's see, it's loading up. You have Psyduck in there, Giovanni's Charisma, Genghis-Khan, Nidoking, Mew, Golem, Caterpie, but by the end of the second page, you're already down to $1.64 cards. So, there is actually a fair amount of depth in the top end of the set. Bottom half of the set, not as much, but a full page over $10 still. I'm really liking that. Obviously, the Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur are the big hits, but you do have a lot of other hits. And just general sentiment for me, as someone who's almost 30 years old, who grew up with the original 151, I love the cards. I really do. I mean, beautiful artworks, especially, when you look at the Charizard, the Charmander, and where's the Charmeleon down here? You can kind of see that they're all connected as an artwork, which is beautiful. And then, kind of the same thing, Blastoise, the Squirtles on land, and then where's the Wartortle? Underwater. So those are kind of connected as well, not to the same degree, but beautiful cards. People love the set. 151 brought a ton of people back into the hobby just from a collecting standpoint, and there's been a lot of demand for the product. As such, I mean, it's evident when we look at Canadian sellers. So I'm just looking at a few of the main ones online. Catch a Card has 4 UPCs in stock. Everything else is sold out. 401 Games, who normally has notoriously high prices compared to most other online retailers, they still have UPCs, but ETBs at $90 Canadian. I mean, I don't even know what that comes out to in US. That's like what? 70, 65, 70 US. I mean, just, pretty ridiculous price. Maybe a bit less, like 62, something like that. Someone can do the conversion. Booster bundles at $60 US, or $60 Canadian rather. That's all they have in stock as well. All the other things are just singles. So they don't have much, and they're notorious for holding on to product. Hobbiesville over here just has ETBs in stock at $90 Canadian, and then Kanzen Games is completely sold out. So and then obviously like the Pokemon Center is sold out right now. So obviously most of the online retailers, especially here in Canada, don't have a ton of products. So I mean, it's obvious there was a huge demand for it. Obviously, a lot of the demand is just chewing through that excess product that we've seen. Now, obviously, there hasn't been a massive reprint that's been announced or been confirmed, but I personally and a lot of other people have seen that things have been restocked. So, for example, Walmart has gotten more booster bundles in at certain times. Hobbiesville got in UPCs. Let's see. They're all sold out of UPCs now, but they actually had, I believe, over 100 UPCs like a couple months ago. They had a big restock of that. Did they have booster? No, their booster bundles are sold out as well. They did have some of those. So, I mean, that product got chewed through fast. And then on top of that, when we look at the Pokemon Center got some tins restocked, the US Pokemon Center, US Canada one. And then in the UK, I believe they had the PC ETBs restocked as well. So we've seen smaller restocks, but not a massive reprint announced. When I look at the set, I really assume that there's going to be a reprint. Now, that might be stupid of me to think like that, and maybe it's just because I don't have a ton of product and I'm kind of just trying to, cope myself into believing that there's going to be a massive reprint so I can get in at a decent price instead of just sitting on the sidelines. But for right now, I mean, I'm not going to pick anything up at these prices. Like, I'm not going to pay where is it, $90, after tax, 94.50 or something like that for a friggin' ETB. Like, it's just not gonna happen. So, that's kind of one of the downsides of being in Canada is we have less options. Now, if you guys are in the States or other parts of the world, you may have better options. And I know for the States you will have better options. For example, if you go to walmart.com right now, the booster bundles are restocked for MSRP at the moment. 28.98 USD. That is just insane pricing. And guys, look, 1,000 bought since yesterday. These things are flying. I mean, that just proves there's demand for this product. 1,000 in one day, less than a day since yesterday. And it's probably way more than that. Like, I'm not entirely sure what Walmart's kind of, number system is if they have one that shows like 5,000 or more, but it's way more than 1,000, I would assume. But minimum 1,000. Obviously, you have UPCs still in stock at $89.99. I actually brought this up in another video and said I didn't know who the seller was for this. We can take a quick look. I believe it's actually GT Collectibles, who doesn't have any feedback on Walmart, but this store name sounds really familiar. So if you know anything about GT Collectibles, maybe they have an eBay store or website or whatever, definitely feel free to leave a comment for everyone else watching the video. But yeah, I mean, if you're in the States, you're going to have many more options than us Canadians and potentially other parts of the world right now. So, if I was in the US, I'd be buying some booster bundles from Walmart at this point. I mean, that just seems like a no-brainer. For me in Canada, I'm being patient and I'm going to wait for a restock before I get in. I can't justify the prices, but yeah, the set's really good. I mean, if it does get a reprint, if we see ETB prices come down, if we see booster bundles get restocked in the Canadian Walmart, I will be picking them up as well. So those are things I'm kind of just waiting on. If you guys are into 151 and, you like the set, I mean, fair enough, pick it up. Even if you want to open it, like, pull rates are shit, so it's better just to buy singles, right? But, if you want to get into it, do your thing. I'm going to wait for a potential reprint. If it comes, awesome, I'll get in. If it doesn't come, no worries. I'm happy with my investments at the moment. A lot of the money I was gonna put into 151, I ended up putting into Fusion Strike and Chilling Reign. So I can't be too upset with how I've done. Um, I guess we can talk about some of the products too. That should be a smart thing because, some people are probably not sure which sealed products they can pick up. When we look at this list, the obvious ones, off the bat, if you could find a sealed 151 display case, which, a booster bundle display has 10 booster bundles in it, and then a display case has 6 of these display bundles, I guess. So you basically have 60 booster bundles in a display case, and then in each bundle there's 6 packs. So you can do the math. What is that? 360 packs or whatever. If you can find one sealed, I mean, that's pretty good. Booster bundle case time, if you could find one of these sealed as well, go for it. Sealed ETB cases are obviously going to do great also. And then even just sealed booster bundles display of the 10 bundles, that's going to be okay. Also, and one more thing too, sorry. Sealed mini tin displays, if we can take a quick look at this one. This actually really surprised me, and I'm not exactly sure if this price is accurate, but judging by the most recent sale a couple days ago for $193, it seems potentially accurate. If you guys can find a sealed tin display, they started down here around 115 and now they're up at like 175, but again the last sale was 193. So yeah, if you can find a sealed tin display, go for it. That seems like it'll be a solid investment long term as well. Obviously, again, good price. Like if you want to buy up here at 175, I'm not entirely sure, but if you can find something, down here in the 140s or even closer to retail, sure, go for it. Ultra premium collections, if I was buying these, I'd try and buy four at a time just to get a case. I believe it's four in a case of these. So, again, whenever I'm buying anything now, I really try and buy in sealed displays, sealed cases, etc. Just because it's easier to store, it's easier to eventually ship in the future because you already have one box. Obviously, I'm going to double box most of my stuff, but you do have already a box for padding. If it's sealed, it's probably going to have some type of premium in the future. Whether you want to crack that and just be sure of what's on the inside, that's up to you. But that's another thing. So UPCs are all right. Again, just remember they take up a ton of space. They're not the most space efficient, but you have the promo cards inside as well. So that's something that's going for UPCs. And if you look at pricing, we've seen these steadily climbing as well, which is, we're down at the end of the year around 95 US, and now we're up to almost $110 US. So that's a good thing to see if you're invested into this product. Booster bundles have actually been crashing, and this kind of makes sense because one of the things I've seen restock the most are the booster bundles, especially in the Canadian Walmart, and obviously, as we saw a couple minutes ago, in the US Walmart. I mean, $29, more than 1,000 have sold in the past day. And I believe you guys down the States too have restocks at Target and other places like that. So it makes sense why the booster bundle price has come down a lot. ETBs, again, we've seen these kind of, all over the place, but it does seem like there's a general trend upwards, especially since the end of the year. We're down, if we go like 3 months, kind of looking at this, 46 up to, almost $56. Not bad. That's like what, 20% gain around there. So pretty good move on ETBs if you got in. I have 3 ETBs, I believe, and 10 booster bundles. So that's really all the 151 I'm currently holding. So final conclusion, the cards are just freaking amazing. I love the artworks, except the Venusaur. Honestly, like, I don't know what it is about this card. It just doesn't get me going. Like, there's just too much going on for me. But I really like the Blastoise. Charizard's pretty cool, even though his head shape is kind of funky. Zapdos is awesome. The Charmander, the Squirtle. I mean, I just love all these cards. Alakazam, obviously, one of my favorites. Charmeleon's dope. The Pikachu, awesome cards. So there's just a ton of, upper tier depth to it. It kind of falls off after the first page, but that's okay. I mean, you still got what? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 24, 27 cards over $10. Like, that's pretty solid. The set's been out a lot, so I mean, some of the prices are going down, some are coming up. Like Squirtle, I believe, on release day was $9.99. So, and maybe even the Bulbasaur as well, and they're both like what, 23 to 27.50 cards. So, some cards have done better than others, some have done worse. The top chase cards seem to be doing pretty well also. Blastoise, Venusaur, and Charizard. So you have everything that you want in a good set. You have a decent chase card or chase cards. You have amazing artworks. We have a high demand for the product and low availability. But again, at the same time, all that leads me to think is that there's going to be a reprint. And obviously, the Japanese 151 and Scarlet and Violet 151 in English are completely separate things. So we can't just assume because there's going to be a Japanese reprint that there's going to be an English reprint. But just based on the fact of how much demand there is for the product, current prices and availability, I just don't see why Pokemon Company wouldn't want to reprint a product that they know they're going to make tons of money on if they do so. And I mean, the set hasn't been out too long, like what, a year or so. So there's tons of room and there's tons of time for there to be a reprint. So yeah, in conclusion, I'm waiting for a reprint. If there is one, I'm going to get in. If not, it is what it is. If you guys are in the States, you have much more opportunistic times in front of you. You can buy booster bundles at retail at places like Walmart, so you don't have to be as patient as the rest of the world. If you want to get in, go ahead, buy up these products. If you can find TikTok deals to get them even lower, or buy UPCs or whatever it is, go ahead, do your thing. But for everyone else, I mean, buying in at some of these ridiculous prices, like, 90 Canadian ETB, guys, like, come on, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, it's going to go up over time, but it just seems like a ridiculous price to pay. So those are my thoughts. You guys can let me know in the comments down below if you're invested in 151, where you think it's headed in the future. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're on the way to 1,000. I appreciate all you guys being here. Also, if you're going to shop on places like eBay, or if you're going to shop through Hobbiesville right here, I have affiliate links to those, using them at no extra cost to you, and it helps out the channel, so I really appreciate that. With that said, thanks for watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.